he promised to take care of my sister, which is the most, I feel like, sacred promise that one can make, regardless of the actual method of her death. He didn't keep that promise. And I mean,
that was a fraud.
I can't
It's a
trust
complete fraud.
any of that.
It is tough for Carol and Shannon Leidline to remember the last time they saw their daughter and sister alive.
She really was all alone.
Bethany was marrying the love of her life, Tyler Deaton, but nothing that day and the weeks to follow was as it seemed.
I had reservations, and I asked her, is this what you want? And she said yes.
The family would soon learn those reservations were valid. Bethany's body was found on October 30th, 2012 at Longview Lake. The medical examiner ruled her death a suicide.
Micah, what do you have to say?
Then on October 9th, Micah Moore, a roommate of Bethany and Tyler,
Anything to say at all?
confessed to killing Bethany.
What do you want to say to her family?
Moore claimed he and others in a close-knit religious community had been drugging and sexually assaulting Bethany for months. Moore claimed Tyler, their leader, told him to kill her.
Their community was very regimented and very strict in terms of their rules, and he was over all of that. He was the leader.
He was very suspicious.
Bose Harrington was a member of the group and says Tyler told them what to wear, when to eat, and even controlled their romantic relationships. Tyler also manipulated some of the men in the group into having sex with him, insisting it was to help him discover his masculinity. Harrington says he never believed Bethany committed suicide, so when Moore confessed and pointed the finger at Tyler, it made sense.
She'd gotten married 2.5 months ago. She had been looking forward to marrying him for years. It was like the fulfillment of her dream, and suddenly she was dead. Newlyweds don't kill themselves. It made no sense to me.
Detectives questioned Tyler several times but never charged him.
How did she die?
In an interview with CBS News' 48 Hours, Tyler said his gift and his curse is that he's charismatic. He denies he is controlling.
I don't know what the average person hears when they hear you say, "So Tyler, you have a controlling personality." I don't run around giving orders to people. The way that I ended up having undue control or influence in other people's lives was hard to pinpoint.
Do you believe your son's innocent?
As the case against Moore moved forward, the family received another blow.
They were statements of a distraught and confused young man.
The charges against Moore were dismissed almost 2 years to the day Bethany died.
Of course, we said why, and had some questions.
The questions for Carol and her family are still unanswered. A confession with intimate details of Bethany's death. Information the marriage was a sham. A sexual relationship between Tyler and 2 of his groomsmen.
Some things were just odd.
We asked the detective on the case how a case once ruled a suicide, then charged as murder, is now back to undetermined. Penny Cole's answer was surprising.
Do you think Bethany committed suicide?
No.
What do you think happened?
I think Bethany's life was taken by someone, and I can't say that I have an opinion. I have to base what I do on evidence and facts. But what I have seen and from my investigation leads me to believe that Bethany did not kill herself.
Cole says from the beginning she treated Bethany's death as a homicide. Too many things in the hour and days after Bethany's death didn't add up. The more she learned about the community and its members, the more she was convinced this was not a suicide.
They call it a community. What do you call it?
I call it a cult. It was a cult.
Do you think Tyler was behind this?
I think Tyler had great influence over everyone in his community.
Tyler admits his relationship with his new bride was strained, but he says it wasn't murderous, and certainly he had nothing to do with her death.
I think it makes most sense that Bethany killed herself. I don't think it makes most sense that Micah did it.
For Cole, this is still an open investigation. Tyler and Moore have ended their cooperation with investigators, but Bethany's family hopes with the passing of time, perhaps someone else in this tight-knit community will come forward, and finally the whole truth can be revealed.
If somebody knows more, that they need to speak up and speak up for Bethany, speak up on her behalf, because she would have done that for them.
We reached out to Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker and were told they are not commenting on the case because it's still an open investigation. We also called the medical examiner to ask about the initial suicide ruling. They got Bethany's body back after it had been embalmed, washed, and prepared for burial. Was there crucial evidence lost? We were told she was out of town and would not answer questions via email or over the phone. Janine Kiesling, KCTV5 News.